All right, here we go. It is a Wednesday. I got to get used to this, right? Because we're on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 o'clock. We're going to be joined by a couple of our tails cappers on top of Eric Lindquist extraordinaire at Eric Lindquist. I'm Eitan at Shander Bets, but I'm used to like day 2 of a show is usually Tuesday. So I was going to be like, hey, happy Tuesday, Eric. And instead it's Wednesday. But you know what Wednesday is? It's one day closer to a PGA event that you, myself, one of our guests, actually both of our guests are going to join us to talk a little golf. And I feel like that's a treat for you because you're taking off for the next month for Memorial Day, right?
Yeah, month. Thanks a ton. Yeah, I really appreciate you. Tomorrow, have some stuff around here that I got to do. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm in Tahoe, Reno, Tahoe. So going up there for a wedding. It's going to be lovely. I'm staying on the border, so I'll be able to have all of the pick'em on one side across the street, and then you go to the other side because we're staying at Margaritaville up there.
Nice.
Just, I mean, I cannot believe my life in this wedding that is taking place, but it's going to be really fun. And
getting married. Like, how close of a person is it that's getting married?
Yeah, very close. It's one of my wife's best friends, and then one of her friends that's become one of my best friends. So it's going to be a real fun time. That's for sure. There's going to be a lot of gambling, a lot of golf, and probably you'll check in from time to time on the old Discord.
All right. Well, look, we're here. We'll see. Maybe we get a little short or something that we can play for you on the show tomorrow. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. By all means, as mentioned, Alex Blickel is going to join us. Ben Raza is going to join us. Ben, one of our cappers. I know you see him all the time on our YouTube channel, but he is part of the Tails process. We went 1-2 yesterday on free plays. That's not anybody's fault but us. Let's just see what we can do again. 3 we can find here right now at the top. All right, man. So right away, we've got this Knicks Pacers game that's going to pop. Sean Evans is over on Halliburton assists, 10 dimes. He also is the over on the game itself. And then we have a baseball play from the Dodgers. Did not work out with these guys last night, but that doesn't mean that we can't.
That was my only outright that didn't hit. Well, no, that's not true. I also had Detroit, not Detroit. I had the White Sox in Seattle first 5 over 4.5. I mean, Seattle just decided to save it all up for today. 3-run shot there in the first by Julio Rodriguez. It's 3-1 there now. And this is by far the best pitcher that the White Sox have had on the mound over the course of the last 3 days with Smith. So I don't understand. Sometimes in baseball, you get these small sample sizes that just make you feel like an idiot. This is definitely one of them because I thought that line was off by a full run. When it's off by a full run within a 5-inning market, that's a big, big difference. That's not a run in a full game market. I really stay away from. I've never bet a Nerfy, so there's that. I think one Nerfy in my entire life. I'll never be in that market because that's just too volatile for such a small sample size and too much volatility. But I feel like an idiot the last couple of days with this Seattle Chicago crap.
All right, well then let's just take the onus completely off everybody right now, and we'll tail daily free plays coming up here with a WNBA
play. What do you think about this basketball game tonight? I'm having a real pickle of a time figuring out what I want to do, if anything, outside of
Are you talking about this Mystics game? Because I'm just going to tail the daily free plays play here, no?
No. The Mystics. Yeah, no, of course I was talking WNBA. No.
Well, this can be one of our plays right here because you were saying you were struggling, you were frustrated. So I was like, let's just take a play in a league that neither one of us are following, and then we can just coast at the very least as one of our plays. But yeah, as far as tonight is concerned with the Knicks and Pacers,
it does project out as an over for me. I'm going to stay away from it, even though I've got it closer to the 227 land, just running projections for it. I have a really dumb play that is kind of standing out to me at Aaron Nesmith over 1.5 free throws made. But I mean, do I really hate myself enough to actually put U.S. currency on that? Do I?
Well, depends. You can only play that in certain areas. We're supposed to be finding free plays from other people.
Okay, yeah,
not your own.
Okay, fine. I'm just talking out loud because we had the Tyrese Halliburton assists and we had the over up top. I think the over, I'm inclined out of anything that we've seen so far
Okay,
to fire
let's do
that
the
up.
over then.
Oh, man.
Part of the vertigo here. We'll get back up. So it's
All right.
over
You're doing
10.
great,
Here we
sweetie.
go. 222.5. Okay, from
Yep.
Sean Evans.
Yep. 227, where I've got this at. I mean, this is going to be just a markedly different series. I mean, the Knicks are going to want to play in the half court as much as possible. The Indies just going to get out and blaze. We just got done with totals like right around 200 against Boston nonstop. We saw some of those go over, but like,
Yep.
overall, this is just a different series. And these game ones, I always want to be early to the party, but also I don't want to be stupid. Like, I don't want to do anything that I just don't know. Like, there's so many ways that Indy can dip into their bench if they really want to, but I doubt that they do. Like, they've played a 9-man rotation. I think it gets shorter and shorter as they go along. And we don't know, the Knicks basically have 7 guys, McBride and Robinson off the bench, their main 5 starters. So like, I think it's pretty easy to project. And I'm just wondering what I'm missing. Cause yeah, the over, it feels too easy of a click, but yeah, I didn't play it yet.
All right, that's fine. We'll tail Sean here specific. We've got a couple more that popped up. Riley Green, home run.
Luis Araz. I saw Luis Araz's name come up.
Well, he went over 1.5. That's now dipped to a half. So yeah, Big Smokey got in on all the CLV right there.
Yeah, that's a W. I saw the Araz and I just, went 6 to midnight. So wanted the people to know that Luis Araz.
This dinger here, Riley Green.
That one's live right now. That's going. He is.
Oh yeah, that is live. Sorry, I apologize.
You're okay. That's one of the things about doing this afternoon Wednesdays is that we get baseball that's already concurrent going along. That you either tailed or you did not here at this point in time. Afternoon action. See Houston, Seattle.
That's pretty good,
Houston
right?
Just
or at least highlighting what's out there.
Houston's trying to make something happen. I saw Dubois just hit a bomb, so 5-3 there. But yeah, Pena just struck out. That's not ideal for him there. I don't have a
Nemhard, PRA from the crack man himself. Come on.
Let me take a look.
We gotta go. We gotta roll with that.
So Andrew Nemhard's also the guy, as I'm talking about trimming minutes for Ben Shepherd, trimming minutes for Benedict Mathurin, who would be the primary beneficiaries. I think it's Andrew Nemhard playing high 30s minutes. I doubt we get there in game 1, but I will say that 20
that number is pretty low overall.
I've got it pretty close. Nemhard. 9. Yep, I've got the over of that, so I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that.
All good. All good. All right. We're going to get to Alex in 1 minute, Ben Raza as well. But look, we just dropped this in here for you because, again, this is just to highlight what we have. Mystics minus 12 over 222.5 in the NBA game, and then Nemhard over 20.5 PRA. Just highlighting what we can here from all of our cappers across the board. I do want to run here if we can, right, real quick, because we've got our WNBA or NHL. We'll let Lindy decide. Play parlay of the day. All right, man.
Look at you.
I know. Look at this, right? So let's go over here. We're not. All I need from you, this is as fast as it gets. We're not here to break down it. I just need from you the sport. You tell me, are we going to go hockey or WNBA today?
WNBA.
Okay. That's all I need from you. Everything else is going to be done here by the tools themselves, right? And we'll build ideally it's going to be a 3-legger. And we've got 3 pieces of profit right here. All right. And I'll go ahead and put this in the app as well. But this is it. I mean, just using the parlay builder. We got an over in there. Brittany Sykes is involved in this thing.
Yep.
All right. Don't need to know anything about anything right now at all. Just putting this in. So I'll put this in. Don't sweat it. All right. Let's go back. As we mentioned, bunch of free stuff happening here on board. But we've got a lot to talk about with our Alex as well as Ben, who's popping up. Now, Alex, you have seen across the board here doing a bunch of with the specific PGA Championship. You popped in, did some spaces with us, right? The live show stuff. Like, you've done video, you've done spaces, you cut your own shorts with us as well. So the YouTube world is now fully familiar with you, my friend. And on top of that, I believe this is the first time you two have spoken, correct?
Second. No, we got to do the spaces last week together, which was awesome. He carried the spaces last week. He was fantastic.
Did you swap, like, you know, oh, I play golf with this guy who's on tour and I played golf with this guy? Because both of you are pretty damn good when it comes to the game of golf. So we're just trying to figure out, like, how deep those stories went. Because if it was just all business on spaces, Alex, this is the platform where you guys can stretch out and you can one-up Lindy and be like, yeah, you played with Fuzzy Zeller, but I played with Tiger Woods.
I haven't played with either of those guys, but I will find out my my pairings in the next few days for US Open qualifying. So excited for that.
Where are you on that as far as the stage and the process?
I'm at Woodmont, Maryland for final qualifying now on June 2nd. Longest day of golf, 36 holes all in one day. It's going to be a blast.
So awesome. I'm so stoked for you. Obviously, that's fantastic. We bonded a little over Philly Cricket Club. He won the Pennsylvania Amateur there, and I had qualified in 2019 at Poppy Hills with my 4-ball partner. We were going to play in US 4-ball, and it got canceled for COVID 2020.
Yeah,
and that was a bummer because golf course I thought looked pretty great on TV. I mean, Rory made it sound like a pitch and putt. I guess, you know, it didn't really look like a pitch and putt after the fact. If you're he had his normal driver in for that week, I suppose, but didn't affect Scotty Scheffler as much. I got to say, it'd be a little jarring to just lose my driver before a major championship, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, let's also take note of the fact it was his grip, his shaft. All that changed was the driver head. It should have felt pretty similar. I think that's not an excuse for playing poorly. He just played poorly.
Yeah.
And I think Scotty really makes that point. Like it's actually good, I think, for Rory that there wasn't a bigger deal made of it and that he didn't make it a bigger deal than it was, because then we learn after the event ends that, hey, by the way, the guy who won had the exact same issue with his driver. So good for Rory and probably good for the media that it didn't become a bigger issue than it already was.
Ben's in the house here, and at Jazz Red Bets, of course. He has also been accused, Alex, of having an illegal driver head multiple times in events. Not quite at the US Open qualifier, but he has been accused.
Also true. Yeah, no, I won't be at the US Open qualifier, but if I will be happy to donate some lineups rostering you if and when you make it. So
I've had this conversation so many times. Like, I'm gonna have to tell people, I know you think it's gonna be really fun, but don't do it. Like, you just spend money on fire. Don't blame me on DraftKings. If I make the cut, that'll be fantastic. It would be like the most incredible golf experience for me, but it wouldn't help your lineups. So don't do it.
Yeah.
But compared
let's
to my
give you a
PGA
$4,000 price tag. Don't do it.
But yeah, I'll be rooting for you, my friend.
It's awesome.
Dude, that's awesome, man. We're gonna have to show up, like do some sort of content, some things along the lines.
You best believe I'll go to Oakmont for that. Yeah, you kidding me?
Listen, there are 36 very, very difficult holes ahead of me before we can even talk about what we're doing for Oakmont.
Yeah, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't think about what can be. Think about it's one shot at a time, Aton. One shot at a time, buddy. That's all you can do is you control your box.
Absolutely, and I think honestly, like one of the most helpful things that I've ever heard. The first time Zalatoris was ever in contention at the Masters, he mentioned a quote from something Tony Romo told him, which was like, be emotionally prepared for your life to change. And it was like, I've never really thought about, like, obviously before you have a big event or something like that, you're thinking about, okay, like what are the different scenarios of like the first 6 holes that, you know, maybe I go out and I start bogey in the first 2 holes. And like, how am I going to get myself focused again? But you don't think about like the overwhelming excitement that might happen if you have 6 holes to go and you're actually right there. And so like, that's one of the things that I'm doing to prepare, is just trying to put myself in the position of, hey, I've got 4 holes left. I know I just need 4 pars to get in. How I'm going to control my emotions in that situation and just take it one shot at a time.
It's incredible, man. Like, it's a game that we're all familiar with on so many different levels. The 4 of us, right? Like from playing it from the DFS component, and each one adds a different element of it, to just straight betting on it with all the different market opportunities. And ultimately it's a game. It's, again, I don't know what the equivalent is, but the mental fortitude of being able to be consistent when it comes to playing golf is unlike anything we've seen. I mean, right? It's like Mitchell Robinson trying to hit 7 straight free throws is equivalent to every single
6
golfer
straight in
trying.
game 4. I'm just throwing it out there, not to be a downer on that, but anyway, I wanted to bring up a couple of
right now. Mitchell Robinson to hit every single free throw.
Oh God, you and I are done with Mitchell Robinson free throw bets for the rest of our lives, I think is probably what's going to happen here. But let's start talking a little bit of golf because obviously,
Schwaber.
I mean, Alex is definitely top tier when it comes to playing the game of golf, but also the analysis that he gave on the spaces last week for the PGA Championship. You can tell he has a deep passion for this game, and we're going to a golf course that we've seen a lot in the PGA Tour rotation here in Colonial. It's tight, it's narrow, it's not all that long, but it always plays difficult. There's a reason that Annika chose it as the golf course that she wanted to go play and try to compete at, because I think there's just so many different types of golfers, and it comes down to, just controlling your golf ball and finding ways to, just avoid disaster in a couple of these spots. But what are you kind of paying attention to this week for the Charles Schwab, Alex?
You kind of nailed it right there. Driving distance is far less predictive than usual here. We do have an emphasis both on and around the greens, so more predictive than usual in both of those categories. And then interestingly, prior to the renovation, driving accuracy was kind of right in line with where it is on most tour stops, and then approach play was way up. Last year was kind of the opposite. Our accuracy off the tee was incredibly predictive, and it actually stole a little bit from iron play, which doesn't mean that iron play isn't important. It just means that, think about the causal relationship there. If you have to drive the ball accurately, then it doesn't matter how great of an iron player you are if you're not driving it accurately, because then you're not even giving yourself opportunities to take advantage of your iron strength. So if you have the accuracy off the tee, then iron play also becomes very important. But kind of like you said, controlling your golf ball, and that's getting to the green, it's around the green, and of course on the green as well.
Yeah, and Ben Raza knows that I love this golf tournament because Sam Burns took down Goliath for me once upon a time. Boy, did that feel good. Sam Burns is my boy. That is not a political statement. It is simply what it is. But Ben Raza, how are you highlighting the Charles Schwab here? Because again, I love when we go to these familiar tracks, these old school, like the Harbor Town golf links, the Colonial country clubs of the world. I'm excited for this week.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere that Griot's won, you have obviously, even though his ball is still stuck in the viaduct, that was a story for another time. But no, I mean, you guys, you nailed it. It's a course that some of these courses, realistically, it feels like there's almost a prerequisite of like, okay, these short hitters, it's not that they can't compete, but they're at such a disadvantage. They have to be super aggressive off the tee. They're going to be hitting long irons. This is not that. This is, you can pick your spots if you want to be aggressive off the tee, but I'd say that's the exception, not the rule. You can club down, and Alex already highlighted it. Like you need to put yourself in the fairway because it becomes a second shot course in that element of like you need to attack. Greens and regulation, of course, correlate to success. So I love Colonial. I like this. I think it's one of the more interesting game theory weeks I've ever seen on the DFS side because you have Scheffler and such an immense drop off to it. Yeah. So, and even in the betting market, you're talking about someone like plus 230 to win the event. That's just such a wild, drastic deviation from what you normally see. It prevents a lot of unique opportunities.
Well, that begs the question, right? Like, who are we more likely to see at minus 110? Is it Ohtani Judge to hit a home run, or is it Scotty Scheffler to win an event? And look, you can take that answer any way you want in the sense of he's clearly never going to be minus 110 to win a major, but he's pretty damn close to being minus 110 to winning an event like this.
Yeah, never thought we'd get here. So it's crazy, and it's warranted. That's the craziest part. Normally I would come on and just be like, that's ridiculous. It's not that ridiculous that it's probably plus 230. Like I'm not betting him, but I'm not saying that it's a terrible number either. When that's the craziest part.
Yeah, this is the fun part also for Alex because he did a great job of explaining to people who weren't aware about what overseeding means to a golf course and what it can be. They did not overseed Colonial Alex, how's that going to kind of change the complexion of the golf course? Because that was something that a lot of sharp people said Scotty Scheffler was going to take advantage of last week in terms of just making it easier on him to drive the golf ball. What does not overseeding a golf course on Bermuda look like?
So the Bermuda rough just becomes very different from the overseed rough. So if you remember the rough from last week, it was like every single lie in the rough was pretty much the same, which means that it's very easy to predict how the ball is going to come off of the club. And that helps you control the distance. Like the only thing that you can't do out of that rough is you can't spin the ball. Bermuda, you're going to get very different lies each time you go into the rough, but most often you're going to get that same issue where you're not going to be able to spin it. But the difference is you also can't control the distance because you don't know if it's going to come out hot and really jump or if it's going to come out kind of dead, especially if you hit it high on the face. So it just makes it puts a little bit more of a premium on hitting fairways. But I'll echo the same thing I kind of talked about last week, which is like, this is another course where it's not just about hitting fairways. It's about avoiding the really penalizing miss off the tee. So sometimes it's okay to be in the rough if you're taking away, a 1.5 stroke miss on the other side of the hole. So things like that. But yeah, with this rough, it's also very difficult around the greens then, because with that like overseeded rough, the really long rough, you can just kind of pick a spot behind the ball, go through it with speed, and it's going to pop up in the air and you're going to control it pretty well. With this Bermuda, contact becomes very difficult to predict and very difficult to execute. And so you get some kind of loose or subpar chips that we very often don't see from these tour guys, but it just happens when you have no idea how the rough is going to affect the shot.
All right. So we need a couple of things from you guys real quick before you get out of here, right? First and foremost, if you're watching on YouTube, by all means, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, make sure it's working. Click it. Also, we've got links, right, for each one of these guys, including Linda here. So you can jump in Alex's package linked right there. You can see the Discord, everything, especially leading up and through this weekend. Like, probably not a better time to jump on a capper for golf's package than a Wednesday, because all right, you're going to get everything taken care of, live stuff as it pops up throughout the weekend. Ben, as you know, I mean, you never know what you're going to get from Ben. It could be like Senegal soccer.
Yeah, I don't even know. So.
Right. So at that point, and then Lindy, it's not just him. I'm in there. Greg's in there. We got some folks, man. It's fun. So there's links for everybody. So real quick, we're going to get a parlay from you. I already saw this Jalen Brunson play. It's fantastic, Alex, but we can't let either or both of you guys in this case leave. We can do this rapid fire. All right. Doesn't have to be long-winded, what have you, but we need from you, Ben, Alex, your favorite non-outright play bet for this week's Charles Schwab. Ben, you want to go first?
Sure. I don't have a number in front of me, but even though I did bet him on an outright, I'm going to wheel Berger. I know it seems somewhat square, but I honestly think that he's close. And when I say wheel him, I mean that I'm going to bet him outright, but I'm going to bet him top 5, top 10, top 20, all the way up, because I do think the floor is there. The ball striking is there. He's been close. He hasn't really putted. I love the setup of Colonial to him, and I do think that, there's Scheffler and everybody else, but he's right at the top of everybody else with Fleetwood and a couple other guys. So Berger's outright number, I'm not most in love with 22, even though I do have some. I think he plays really well this week, and so that's just the name that I'm really bullish on.
Over Fleetwood for you?
Yeah, well, you know how that goes.
Alex,
I'll give two. The first one is more on the pick'em side, and it is McIntyre to finish outside of the top 20. He just kind of doesn't have any part of his game working right now, and I like taking the worst side on pick 6, especially just because then like most people are going to be taking better. They want to pick guys that they can root for all week, and so you get some really low ownerships on the other side of it. And then I'll go Siwoo Kim top 20. I believe that's 200 plus 200, and we've got him at 39% over at FTN Fantasy. So I think that's a really strong one. He's just a really solid player and an absolutely outstanding course fit here.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. Parlay time. Ben knows the drill here. We got to build a parlay. You've already got something up here, and we can build this actually over at 365 myself, since I can't get it down at ESPN. But we are more than willing and capable, if you like, to throw this in there, right? Because we're not going to add something for the next 4 days, what have you. But for a play for tonight, I saw this pop up on the free play here, Alex. Brunson over 6.5 free throws made. You can put whatever you want in there, but I at least saw this pop up on the free play, so I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, I do like this. Is it available on Bet365?
Free throws is a market that is available, so let me just double check. He should be correct. Real quick.
I haven't found that there.
Yeah, field goals made, free throws made. It's not. Yeah, can't same game parlay it, but that's fine. I'm sure we can get around it.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it changes by state, because I don't see it. I've got all of Brunson's player props up, and I don't see free throws. I've never seen free throws there.
Yeah, it's minus 115 on 365, but I can get that same number, 6.5. But anyway, let's add it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really like it. It was at like 1.21x, by the way, on Underdog earlier today. I don't know what it's at now, but that's, I think, also really strong. He has been he flew over this number pretty much throughout the Detroit series, as you can see in the kind of description of the bet. But he's just so damn good at drawing fouls. And when you get to the postseason, their entire offense is put the ball in Brunson's hands and let him do his thing. And while it's not fun to watch, he's really, really good at getting guys into foul trouble and really good at creating these fouls. And Boston has been the best team in the NBA all season at not allowing the opponent to get to the free throw line. And their whole mantra going into the series was, don't let Brunson get to the free throw line. And Drew Holiday did a really good job against him, but everybody else did not. Derek White, Jaylen Brown, everybody else struggled. And so Brunson just throughout the series, he started getting a switch off of Drew Holiday as much as he possibly could, and then he'd get those fouls. So I think he's going to get to the line in this series. Indiana was not anywhere near as good as Boston at preventing free throws throughout the season. So I think Brunson's going to go right back to the way he was in that Detroit series and just find himself at the line over and over and over again.
All right. Brunson's in there. Ben, what do you got, brother?
Where should we go? I'll go. Honestly, I'll take it seems counterintuitive, but I'm just going to keep doing this because the Rockies are not just bad. They're not just historically bad. They're a new word. I don't have words. So I will lay 2.5 on the run line at minus 105. I don't have Bet365 in New York, but whatever it is with the Phillies, I know it's ridiculous, but it doesn't matter. It just simply doesn't matter. They've got Walker on the mound. I don't even know who this guy is for the Rockies. His ERA is 11 like the rest of them. They have no bullpen. They have no offense. They have no fielding. They are the worst team I've ever seen. And it felt like they played good last night. I think they gave up 9 runs ultimately. So it doesn't seem to matter. Obviously, the Phillies get the extra frame. I actually like them on the road in this spot. It's even better when you're trying to cover these type of numbers. I don't think the extra run matters in Coors. The Phillies, like every team, roll the Rockies again tonight.
All right. Well, I have to take my play away because I had the Phillies on the money on the run line at minus 1.5. But yeah, absolutely. That makes too much sense by all means. That's fine. There's plenty of time to pivot here. In fact, look, it's a great argument, and there's nobody that is going to come out and say otherwise. This team is just not trying, and it's pretty obvious that they're not. Garrett Crotchet, right? Crochet. This guy, he's sitting at 7.5 for his K line, and that just seems a little too high against this New York Mets squad. So I'll throw that in under 7.5. It's minus 150. It's heavily juiced, but again, I don't know how he's in the game unless he's throwing a no-hitter. I don't know how he's in the game deep enough to strike 8 Mets batters out who just refuse to go down swinging. So that is where I'm at here. And so far, we're at a pretty good number, plus 495, which means only one thing. Well, 2 things. 1, we got to get the Lindy, and 2, he's going to have to stay off this NBA game because Alex's play can't be same game parlay.
No reaction from Alex. Just an assassin. Nothing.
Dude, he's a professional golfer. He's kidding me? You can't rattle this guy.
I laughed, but it then went to a the little teaser, so I didn't have time to respond.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It was just like normally there's like a 20-second period where it's just like, what are we actually doing with our lives?
Yeah, that's where I'm
video.
at. I'm wondering how we let that get into the. I'm gonna have to. But no, you know what? The floor is yours.
Put it on the run sheet for next
put it on the
time.
run sheet, exactly.
Put it on the run sheet. I got a disturbing one. There's actually a number that's an outlier at MGM, so you can get this at plus 155, but at bet 365, plus 135, I'm all right with originating it. It's Ryan Yarbrough. We're going to take his over 3.5 strikeouts a ton. He goes up against the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers strike out at a top 5 clip in baseball against left-handed pitching, 25.4%. You go through the individual hitters. Obviously, there's no Corey Seager left on left who could potentially be up there, but I think there's lots of construction of this lineup because they're going to have, Berger. I'm just kind of going through. Oh, as I'm talking about it, the lineup drops. So I'm going to be able to put this into my sheet as we're doing it, because I do expect Adolis Garcia to continue to hit cleanup. Sure enough, he's up there. Young is batting third. Haggerty leading off here. So 17.4% K rate for him. That was probably the worst guy that could potentially show up there. And yet I still don't care because you get Jake Berger, Higashioka, both of them in the lineup there, and Smith down in the 9 hole. I was hoping he was going to actually be leading off. But the whole point is that Yarbrough is starting to get stretched out, and the Yankees, they don't have any issues with their bullpen going to guys earlier, but he's going from 64, 67. I think he's live for 70 plus pitches here in this spot. He's also had a full 9 days of rest already. 9 days they gave him off to be able to chill, hang out, do nothing. It wasn't injury, wasn't any kind of a problem by any means, but he's starting today against a Rangers offense that has real no hope against lefties, and somehow we're getting a real nice plus money piece at 3.5 for him. Only a 19.6% K rate, but we're going to move that north of 21, 22% here for today.
That's fantastic. There's the ticket right there. All right, one more time, Alex. Tell the world where we can find you, brother.
Yeah, right here at Alex Plickle 1 on the Tails market, and then you can also find me at FTN Fantasy.
Ben?
Let's all give him some good vibes for the U.S. Open sectionals, by the way. Good vibes.
You show up if you tell us,
Yeah. Sure. Positive vibes.
Hey, if I get through, let's have a party at Oakmont.
Let's do it.
Let's do
it.
It's
on us. If you get
You'll be invited back on Spaces. How does that sound? So lucky.
Yeah, that's. No, we're going to do it the other way. If you don't make it, you're going to have to come back on the show. So that's going to be the motivation to get through. You're going to break the course record now. But yeah, you guys obviously, you can find me over at Tails and doing all sorts of content here at OddsShopper and just having fun with these guys. But appreciate you having me on. And again, best of luck, Alex. That's the most important thing out of this that I got. Go Rocket. We'll be rooting.
Appreciate it very much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it for sure. All right, we've got one more thing to do before we get out of here. It is the plus money. There's Ben's big face. We love Ben for being on here. Look at that Alex play, by the way, right there at the top. One more thing to do before we get out of here. It's going to be short and sweet. All right, this is it. We each are going to go one play a day. This is how we're going to end our show. Plus money. That's the only stipulation. This sucker has to be plus money. Can be an alt play. I'm curious. It could be as gross and belligerent as you want, Eric. There is no judgment here whatsoever. I just need you to let it fly. Normally, you end the parlay. In this case, it's like a snake draft. You can start the plus money play.
All right. So, I gave you a plus money on Yarbrough. I won't double dip because that's cheating, and we don't like that. I will give you plus 260. The thing that I wanted to do yesterday that you wouldn't let me do because you're evil, Bryce Harper to hit a double, plus 260. Bryce Harper is hitting just line drives right now. He is making such ridiculous hard contact. He is up here at altitude in Coors Field yet again, and these numbers just don't make sense. He should be closer to like plus 220. I know that doubles, like that market, it's not a market I go into very, very often, but I do think there's a lot of inefficiencies as I've started to run more stuff there. And Harper is plus 230 at FanDuel, plus 230 at Flip, plus 230 at ESPN. We're getting plus 260 at Bet365. Give me that for a double.
Oh, hold on. I didn't realize that we had that number that strong there.
Oh, yeah. It's a big number. I've got him like plus 220. It's a 40-cent gap on a double market.
That's insane. All right, I'm betting it now so we can track this stuff, right? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back and forth between the NBA game and actually this game here, and I'm probably just going to go back to the NBA, not because of you. Like, there's nothing wrong, right? With oh my goodness, 260. You're right. All right, so that's locked
Big
in.
number, dude. It's a
It
big
is.
number.
It's great. It's great. All right, so I'm going to go to the NBA here, and right, we'll just parlay this and see what works and what doesn't, and then we'll just keep it to going here. I think that there's some value. I'm trying to look at the Pacers. I know we talked about the over here. I'm going to sneak an alt play in, and instead of trying to squeeze in something with like Siakam, I think the play is actually Turner, especially looking at his point total as low as 15.5. I don't know if they're truly built to kind of slow down that spot. Boston was really limited because of illness, I guess, the shits, whatever it may be. Turner 20 plus is 240. So I'm going to jump in on that. All right.
Love.
There we go. There we go. All right. Links are in there. Follow everybody on Twitter. All right. Make sure that you're bouncing around. Of course, we appreciate everybody. Taz, absolutely. Always here. This is our parlay that we built. At Eric Lindquist, at Shander Bets, live on the YouTube page. We're here tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. See you.